In an independent Scotland, we could be back in the EU for the first time as an equal member in our own right. We would be part of the huge single market, which by population is 7 times the size of the UK. We would enjoy once again the benefits of European freedom of movement, vital for so many Scottish businesses. Our young people would have the opportunity again to study and to work freely across Europe. And in turn, we would welcome our fellow Europeans to Scotland. With independence, people in Scotland will always get the governments they vote for. That's how democracy should work. Engaging in respectful persuasion, taking account of everyone's view, working together wherever possible in the national interest.
The people of Scotland have expressed their view that there should be a referendum on independence. They did that in 2021. And up until now, the Westminster government has essentially blocked the democratic wishes of the people of Scotland. Now, we've got an opportunity at this election to get past that.
Now, on independence, it says in the manifesto that if you win a majority of seats in this election, you would regard that as a mandate to go back to start having the proper negotiations with the UK government about the referendum. So can we assume if you don't win a majority, that means you don't have a mandate to pursue that?
Well, I'm going into this election to make sure that Scotland has the opportunity to deliver on the fact that the Scottish Parliament was elected in 2021 with a majority in favour of independence and a majority in favour of an independence referendum. I think it's ridiculous, totally unacceptable that the United Kingdom government has essentially denied the democratic rights of the people of Scotland, and this election is an opportunity for us to intensify that pressure.
So intensify, but you would regard it, essentially, you already have a mandate, so really, whatever happens in this election, it doesn't affect that mandate as far as you're concerned.
We have a mandate in the Scottish Parliament to have a referendum on independence, and I think that should be honoured, and that is that's essentially the decision of the people of Scotland, and I want to see that taken forward.
But
independent country could do. That would involve rejoining the European Union as an independent country. That are good for Scotland, and that's an illustration of what an independent country could do. Your Secretary of State at the time, Alistair Carmichael, said that people should vote no in that referendum to protect their EU membership, and now we're out of the EU membership. So how on earth can we take the Liberal Democrats seriously on this question of each to have people setting out what they believe in? And I honestly believe that Scotland would be a stronger country and would have better prospects if we were an independent country. That would involve rejoining the European Union as an independent country.
Hi there. So in 2016, Scotland voted as a majority to remain in the EU. Surely that means that if it's the Scottish people's will to remain in the EU, that we should be allowed another referendum on, say, freedom of movement, the customs union, or even if it is the road to rejoining the EU independence, because that's what Scotland wants to do.
If you're basing your decision on what it means for independence, let me be very, very clear. The only sensible and logical vote is one for Scotland to remain in Europe. If Scotland votes to leave, then that premise for independence doesn't arise.
It's a very good point, because in 2016, Scotland voted emphatically to stay in the European Union. And one of the things we were told in the 2014 independence referendum in Scotland was that our European Union membership was guaranteed by voting no to independence.
But I think the position of the UK government and David Cameron in particular does really underline the fact that the risk, the threat to Scotland's continuing membership of the European Union doesn't come from the prospect of Scottish independence. It comes from a growing Euroscepticism within the UK government and that possibility of an in-out referendum. I believe that would be the wrong road for Scotland to go down, but that would be the risk for Scotland if it opted to stay within the United Kingdom.
A yes would have huge implications for Edinburgh's future relationship with the EU. Earlier this year, European Commission President José Manuel Barroso handed a boost to British Prime Minister David Cameron, who backs the No campaign. Barroso said in an interview in February with British television that Scotland would have to reapply to join the EU.